Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I begin in the name of Allah who is most kind and most merciful. Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. Today is the 10th night of Muharram and the 10th night of our children's Majalis program. We will begin the program with the Hadith-e-Qissa presentation, followed by the recitation of Surah Al-Asr 3 times and its explanation. Our Majalis today is on Hazrat Ali Asgher alayhi salam. He was the youngest son of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and he was just a little baby at Karbala. We will also look at the night of Ashura and see how Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his family and his companions prepared themselves for the battle that was to take place the next day. We will end the program with a nawha followed by ziyarat. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
السلام عليك يا فاطمة.
عليك السلام.
إني أجد في بدني ضعفا.
أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف.
يا فاطمة، ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به.
السلام عليك يا أماه.
وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي.
يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله.
نعم، إن جدك تحت الكساء.
السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟
وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي، قد أذنت لك.
السلام عليك يا أماه.
وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي.
يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة، إنها رائحة جد رسول الله.
نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء.
السلام عليك يا جداه. السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله. أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟
وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك.
السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله.
وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين.
يا فاطمة، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عم رسول الله.
نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله.
وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصيي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي.
أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟
قد أذنت لك.
السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟
وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم، وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري، إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء.
يا رب، ومن تحت الكساء؟
هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها.
يا رب، أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟
نعم، قد أذنت لك.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام، ويقول لك وعظمتي وجلالي: إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري، إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟
وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله. إنه نعم، قد أذنت لك.
إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. أخبرني، ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله؟
والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا.
إذن والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة.
يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا. ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته.
إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة، ورب الكعبة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to the Children's Majalis program. Today we are going to look at Suratul Asar. You have all been listening to and practicing Suratul Asar for the last few days. Today we will look at the meaning and understand the concepts introduced in Suratul Asar. Suratul Asr is surah number 103 and contains 3 ayat. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal Asr. I swear by the time. Innal insana lafi khusr. Most surely man is in loss. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Except those who believe and do good and enjoin on each other truth and enjoin on each other patience. Let's look at some of the benefits of reciting Suratul Asr. Recite 10 times for stomach ailments. Recite to reduce fever. Increase in Iman and Nur on Qiyamah. Recite in Isha Salah for safety. The key concepts of Suratul Asr. Asr literally means to squeeze. Here it is used to describe the concept of time, in the sense of it meaning the squeezing of the past, unfolding as the future. The surah points out that human beings are at a loss unless they, number 1, believe, number 2, do good deeds, number 3, advise each other to truth, and number 4, advise each other to patience. Ayah number 1, Wal Asr. I swear by the time. What time does this refer to? This may refer to the time of the Prophet, or maybe the time of Asr on Ashura, or it may refer to the time of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam. Time is the most valuable thing every human being has. Whether you are rich or poor, it really doesn't matter. Every human being has 24 hours in a day. What we do with that time makes all the difference, doesn't it? Ayah number 2. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Most surely man is in a loss. Here the reference is not just to men, it is to all humans. All humans are at a loss. What does that mean? Human nature is to be confused and dissatisfied without any calm or peace. Humans fluctuate from one thought to another, one idea to the other. No sooner is one situation under control than he must move on to another, which is chaotic. Ayah number 3 gives us the path to avoid loss. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Except those who believe and do good, and enjoin on each other truth, and enjoin on each other patience. This provides a relief from the confusion by guiding us to do what is good and right, which includes advising each other to truth and patience, which is Amr bil Maruf and Nahi anil Munkar. The highest degree of patience is that which is exercised when one keeps away from haram. Now let's look at this ayah a little further. Iman means to have faith. One of the bases of our Iman is believing in Usul-e-Din and Furu-e-Din, the roots of the religion and the branches of the religion. Let's review the Usul and Furu of our religion, and then ponder on how strongly we believe in them, and how they manifest in our lives by our actions. Roots of religion are 5: Tawheed, Adalat, Nabuwat, Imamat, and Qiyamat. Branches of religion are 10: Salah, Saum, Hajj, Zakat, Khums, Jihad, Amr bil Maruf, Nahi anil Munkar, Tawalla, and Tabarra. Let's look at some of the good deeds we can perform. Looking after our earth, for example, not wasting, reusing, recycling are all good deeds. Giving charity is a good deed. Being kind to parents, helping ones in need are all good deeds. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ, and enjoin on each other truth. The beauty of our religion is that we are encouraged to always help each other to do good. Goodness should not be limited to ourselves. In this surah, we are encouraged to teach others, help others, and encourage others also to be good. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and enjoin on each other patience. When things get difficult, we need to be patient. Here again, we are reminded to encourage and help each other in being patient. It is always helpful if we have friends and families helping us in taking the path of patience and strengthening our faith and Iman. Let's look at the important qualities emphasized in Suratul Asr for humans to be successful. Number 1, belief in Allah, the Prophet, and the Ahlul Bayt. Number 2, doing good deeds. These would include, in addition to prayer and being honest, to always be on the right path and help each other. Number 3, do not limit goodness to yourself. Help and guide others to do good as well and to be patient. Remember, in Islam, it is never enough to just be good ourselves. It is our duty to help others to do good and be patient. Now let's look at the people of Karbala in the light of Suratul Asr. Imam Hussein alayhi salam was martyred at the time of Asr. Imam Hussein alayhi salam was a true portrayal of the qualities described of a successful person in this surah. He was on the right path, and he propagated the truth to others, including his enemies, till his last breath. He was very concerned about helping and guiding each and every person in Karbala. Imam Hussein and his family and friends all showed a high level of iman and patience in the face of extreme difficulties. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the guidance and ability to follow the principles taught in Suratul Asr, insha'Allah. Ameen. Thank you for listening to the Children's Majalis program. Please continue to watch and listen during the 10 days of Muharram. Every day is Ashura. Every land is Karbala. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to the Children's Majalis program. This is the 10th night day of Muharram program. Today we are going to talk about Hazrat Ali Asghar alayhi salam. Hazrat Ali Asghar was born 6 months before the event of Karbala. He was born on Rajab 9, 60 AH. His father is Imam Hussein alayhi salam. His mother is Rabab. His sister is Hazrat Sakina or Sayyida Ruqayya. Hazrat Ali Asghar has the title of Babul Hawaij, which means the door of acceptance of dua or the door of fulfilling needs. There are 3 people who have this title: Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, Hazrat Ali Asghar alayhi salam, and our 7th Imam, Imam Musa al-Kazim alayhi salam. When you ask Allah for your wishes, use the names of these special personalities for quick acceptance of dua. The mother kept on checking on the weak body of her baby in the cradle. The baby had no water or milk for 3 days. "Oh Allah, please let my baby live long enough to be able to serve you." One by one, all the men in the camp went to the battlefield and were martyred. Imam Hussein alayhi salam was all alone. He cried out, "Hal min nasirin yansuruna, hal min mughithun yughithuna." Is there anyone who could help me for the sake of Allah? Is there any defender to defend the holy progeny of Allah's Messenger? The baby, who did not even have the strength to cry, threw himself out of the cradle. His mother and aunt started to cry. Imam Hussein alayhi salam came to the tents to see what had happened. Imam asked Rabab to bid farewell to Ali Asghar. Imam took Ali Asghar to the battlefield. He covered the baby with his cloak. The army wondered what Imam Hussein was bringing. Some thought it was the Quran. When Imam Hussein alayhi salam lifted his cloak, they saw the baby. Imam told the soldiers of Yazid that Ali Asghar had done them no harm and asked them to give him some water. When no one in Yazid's army responded, Imam laid the baby on the hot sand and rode away. He told the army to go and give water to the baby on their own if they did not trust him with the water. There was still no response. Imam picked Ali Asghar up and asked him to show his tongue to the soldiers to show them how thirsty he was. Ali Asghar gently ran his dry tongue over his parched lips. This made the soldiers cry, and some of them even ran towards Furat to get water. When Umar ibn Sa'd saw this, he said, "Aina Hurmala? Where is Hurmala?" When Hurmala, who was an expert archer, came, Umar ibn Sa'd did not even have the courage to tell him to kill the child. Instead, he said, "Iqtal Kalamul Hussein, kill the words of Hussein." Hurmala drew a 3-pronged arrow, which probably weighed more than Ali Asghar. But then his hands were shaking so much that the arrow fell. Umar ibn Sa'd, seeing this, said, Hurmala, do you want a revolution? Hurmala said that whenever he lifted the bow to shoot the arrow, he could see the curtain on the tent rising. I feel it is the mother of the child watching. Then the arrow came. It pierced the neck of the baby, lodging itself in Imam's shoulders. Imam walked towards the camp, and then he turned back. He repeated this 7 times, saying, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi rajiun, ridam bi qadaihi wa tasliman li amrih. Indeed, we are from Allah, and to Him we return. I accept what Allah has intended and am content with His order. Imam must have walked back and forth wondering how he would give the child back to his mother. When Rubab saw her baby, she said, Do they also kill children like you? If I knew, I would have sent you as a mujahid. The father and the mother dug a small grave behind the tents for their son. Rubab said, My son, I have no water to pour over your grave, but I will cry so much that my tears will wet your grave. Now let's think of the things a baby needs. Food, water, milk, toys. Did Ali Asgher have any of these things in Karbala? No. Not just that. The hearts of the people of Yazid's army were so hardened that they did not even have any mercy on a small innocent baby, and they killed a helpless child. This is what happens to people's hearts when they deviate from the true path. When we allow the worldly things to become too important in our lives, we move away from the core values of humanity and religion. So when we observe Muharram every year, we need to ensure that we never ever allow our hearts to move away from the path of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and that we never forget that Imam Hussein's path is the true path. Let's pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He guides us and helps us stay on the path of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his family. And that is why we need to remember every day is Ashura, every land is Karbala. Hazrat Ali Asgher is buried in Karbala with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Thank you for attending the Children's Majalis program. Every day is Ashura. Every land is Karbala. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Welcome to the Children's Majalis program. This is for the 10th night of Muharram, the night of Ashura. Imam Hussein alayhi salam blew out a candle on the night of Ashura so that those who wanted to leave could do so. None of his loyal companions left. Let's try and remember the names of some of the companions we have talked about over the course of the past 10 days. Muslim bin Aqil, Habib ibn Mazahir, Abis, Shozab, Burair Hamadani, Nafi bin Hilal, Hazrat Hur alayhi salam, son of Hur, slave of Hur, Hazrat On, Hazrat Muhammad, Hazrat Qasim, Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, Abdullah bin Ali, Usman bin Ali, Jafar bin Ali. These 3 are the brothers of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, Hazrat Ali Akbar, and Hazrat Ali Asgher. On the night of Ashura, it is recommended that we listen to and remember the tragedy of Karbala. Recite Suratul Ikhlas as many times as you can. The day of Ashura is the day when the battle took place. We've assigned different days during the 10 days of Muharram to talk about and remember individual shuhada. But remember, they all gave up their lives on the only one day, the day of Ashura. On the day of Ashura, it is recommended to stay away from food if you can until late afternoon. This is not a fast, it is a faqa. It is recommended to eat very simple food when you do eat. On the day of Ashura, it is recommended to remember the martyrs of Karbala and recite Suratul Ikhlas as many times as you can. Recite the ziyarah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Avoid unnecessary talking on this day. This is a very sad day. Recite salawat as many times as possible. And when you see other fellow Shias, do not greet them. Say to them, "May Allah magnify our reward and your reward for our grieving at Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And may He make us those who continue His mission under His representative, Imam al-Mahdi, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajah." Imam's final words were, "O Allah, I left the world altogether for your love. I orphaned my children so as to see you. Even if I was cut up into pieces in the way of your love, my heart would not incline towards anyone but you." Thank you for attending the Children's Majalis program. Every day is Ashura. Every land is Karbala.
A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asgher. A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asgher.
A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir. A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir.
The call of Halmin was all too clear. I was terrified, you had no fear.
I was terrified, you had no fear.
Such a brave heart in someone so small. Where was the courage from, oh my Asir?
A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir. A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir.
Your father came back, his shoulders sheared, walking to and fro, blood in his beard.
Walking to and fro, blood in his beard.
What did happen there? Can someone tell me? Why didn't you come back, oh my Asir?
A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir. A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir.
Sham-e Ghariba, oh so much cruelty, so many enemies, there was no safety.
So many enemies, there was no safety.
The tents were ransacked, then set on fire. Your cradle was burnt, oh my Asir.
A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir. A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir.
I was not able to feed you for many days. I had no food or water for many days.
I had no food or water for many days.
But only after Sham-e Ghariba did I have milk, oh my Asir.
A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir. a sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir.
Shame Ghariba, in the dead of night, we got some water to ease Ruqayyah's plight.
We got some water to ease Ruqayyah's plight.
With that water, she went wandering, looking for you, oh my Asir.
A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir. A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir.
I had a dream that you would grow up too, truthful and pious, like all around you.
Truthful and pious, like all around you.
I had pictured you next to your father, just like Akbar, oh my Asir.
A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir. A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir.
A sweet baby in a battlefield, not in a mother's dream, oh my Asir.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك يا رسول الله يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين يا علي بن أبي طالب السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي المجتبى السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين خصوصا سيدي ومولاي يا أبا الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين وأختك زينب وأم كلثوم وبنتك سكينة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين زين العابدين السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي الباقر السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد الصادق السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر الكاظم السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى الرضا السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي الجواد السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد الهادي السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي العسكري السلام عليك يا حجة بن الحسن يا صاحب الزمان السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. عجل على ظهورك، عجل على ظهورك يا ابن الحسن، يا ابن الحسن. عجل على ظهورك، عجل على ظهورك. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.